Hey guys, if what I'm about to say describes you well, then you should not buy an investment property. As a real estate investor myself, and as a busy agent that's helped a lot of people buy their first, second, and subsequent investment properties, I speak from experience. Real estate investing is not easy, and it's not for everyone. So I want to talk about 5 concepts related to real estate investing, and if these concepts do not fit your personality type or your mindset, then perhaps real estate investing might not be the right path for you. Number 1, real estate investing is inherently risky. If you tend to gravitate towards low risk propositions, if you consider yourself risk averse, then real estate investing is probably not the best route for you in terms of the best use of your money, because there are inherent risks with buying investment properties that cannot be avoided. Number 2, if you prefer to invest in liquid assets, stocks, bonds, ETFs, index funds, mutual funds, target retirement accounts, then real estate investing is probably the opposite of that. It is an illiquid asset. Unlike a stock or an index fund where you have a position, you can't just hit sell and the trade is executed within seconds. It might take you weeks, more likely months, to sell a property. And sometimes you may not be able to sell it. We can't control market conditions. We can't control where mortgage rates are, where the economic outlook is, or where the labor market is. There are certain things, even micro things like limited to a particular town, that might affect your ability to sell. There are properties that sit on the market for many months and end up not selling at all. Or you may be forced to sell at a big loss. You have to keep that in mind if you're considering buying your first investment property. Number 3, if you generally don't like dealing with people and prefer to limit your interaction with people, then maybe real estate investing is not the best path for you, because there are some relationships you'll have to maintain, specifically the landlord-tenant relationship. And look, you might get lucky and you might get along with your tenant or tenants really well, but there will always be cases where things come up. Especially if you have a multi-unit property where there are multiple tenants, inevitably conflicts will arise. It's only a question of when. Even if you have a single tenant, there might be problems. There might be late payments or missing payments altogether. You might have maintenance issues or serious repair issues that have not been reported to you by your tenant, either because of neglect or because they simply don't know what to look for. For example, leaks or electrical issues, other safety issues. Or there might be property damage they're not reporting to you. All in all, there will be times where you'll have to deal with your tenants, and it may not always be a pleasant conversation or interaction. Number 4, if you would rather not deal with an aging property, then maybe real estate investing is not the ideal path for you. Let's face it, any property, even newly built, will age over time, and everything in it has a useful life, and that will age over time and will need to either be repaired or placed. That includes the roof, the boiler, the water heater, the cooling system, the sewer line, the plumbing and electrical that's behind the walls. All of that has a useful life. At some point, things break and you have to deal with repairs. If you're really handy, maybe some of it you could tackle yourself. But probably more often than not, you'll have to deal with contractors. And guess what? You'll usually have to get multiple quotes. And the contractor will tell you he'll be there on Monday. He doesn't show up on Monday. Turns out he's going to be there on Wednesday. Wednesday, he's still not there. Might be a lot of back and forth and waiting around. And there's always an issue of reliability and quality, and this is part of being a landlord. If you don't like people, then you have to face the reality. Do you want to deal with tenants, and do you want to deal with contractors? Because you're going to have to deal with both. Now, this obviously doesn't apply to other assets like stocks, bonds, and index funds. You're not buying aging assets, right? Whereas with a house or an investment property, you definitely are. And last but not least, point number 5, if you gravitate towards diversified and passive investment types, then real estate investing is likely not for you, because by definition, you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket. Let's say you buy an investment property. You're an aspiring investor and you're in your 20s or 30s, and let's assume 25% or maybe 50% or even 75% of your overall net worth is now tied up in that single property. Is that diversification? Of course not, right? It's the opposite of diversification. So keep that in mind, because Some people might tolerate that really well and think that, they can grow their wealth that way. And a lot of people do grow their wealth through real estate because you could scale it. There are a lot of benefits involved. But ultimately, if you seek diversification and a passive way to invest your money, real estate is not that path. Unless you buy a REIT, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trust, and there are national broad-based portfolios where it is a form of passive real estate investing. You have exposure to the housing market, and it is passive in the sense it's kind of like similar to buying a mutual fund. But if you are directly buying an investment property, it is not passive because you will have to be actively involved unless you hire a property manager to take care of everything for you. And of course, they get their cut. So that'll cut into your numbers, and you have to account for that before you buy. But if you're gonna manage it yourself, it is not passive and it is not diversified. So it is definitely not for the faint of heart. Now, what I've said so far may sound scary or demotivating, but I do want to end on a positive note. Real estate investing does have tremendous benefits. That includes some tax advantages and certain tax loopholes that exist only for real estate investing. It also includes things like buying properties that may generate positive cash flow on an asset that generally tends to appreciate over time. It also includes something that's priceless: experience. Experience managing and maintaining a property, experience dealing with contractors, experience being a landlord and dealing with tenants. So all of that is very valuable, and you only get that by owning real estate and being directly involved. But I did want to highlight some of the risks involved and some of the downsides to be sober and transparent about what's involved. Because if you listen to a lot of podcasts out there and you read certain books, they make real estate investing sound honky-dory and super easy and exciting, and oftentimes it's not. So I wanted to paint a very realistic picture for you. My advice would be, if you are thinking about real estate investing, definitely speak to an experienced agent who also has experience as an investor in real estate, him or herself. That's my best advice, because real-world knowledge will always beat something you read about in a book or heard about on a podcast. So I hope this was helpful. Reach out if you have any questions or if you want to have a consultation, and thanks for watching.